Nice, Lanja. Y'all, welcome to Scotch on the Bayou Tuesday night. I hope everyone is doing well and excited to see what will happen. I can only imagine what's going to happen tonight. We've got 5 drams. I have no idea what they are, but we're going to work through them and see what we got and have a lot of fun with it and not be embarrassed when I don't know what it is. It's okay. It's okay. Truly glad everybody is in. Got a crew in here already. Super excited to have everybody in. Hey, Molasses is in. Hello, good to see you, my friend. Also dealing with a mild cold. Yeah. A hot toddy is a very nice thing to keep you company. And I've already told our guests I could blame all of this on the fact that that I still have this kind of cold thing going, but I think for the most part, it's gonna go fun. It's gonna go really, really fun. Hey, Tom, how are you? Whiskey and Wine Trails, Camp Dermer himself. All got a bunch of Camp Dermers in tonight. And Peter's in. Hello, friend. Cheers to you. And our favorite night out. One of them for sure. Hey, Graham, good to see you here. And Rob Smith is in. Hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Mike's in too. Goodness gracious. Stacy. Cheers, everyone. Carlos is in. Hey, friend, haven't seen you in a while. Glad you're here to join us tonight for sure. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty fun. And hey, another West Coaster. Hey Donna, woohoo! I'm glad you made it. The 9th, not the 2nd, the 9th. You got it going. And even George. Hey, George and Martin, more camp drammers coming out around, friends. Great seeing you. Yay. Yeah, so I'm excited about this. So you all know I rave and talk about Islay Whisky Academy, and you going through that week time is there. But the cool thing about it as well is that there's this entire network of people who've gone and done this. And we have a Facebook group called The Kinship, and you just kind of keep connected. Very much like our Barflies, it's just an online community where you can kind of keep in touch with folks, talk about whiskey, find out how people are doing in their lives, that kind of thing. And we were able to have a Secret Santa this year. And logistically, that's a little dicey, right? Because there's us over here in the States, and then there's pretty much everybody else. Some folks way down under and other things like that. But for the most part, Europe and UK, and then the States. So to do the whole Secret Santa name exchange, the States kind of did amongst ourselves. And I got this huge package in from my Secret Santa and looked at it and unwrapped it. And it was like, wow, it was a blind challenge with 5 of these gorgeous bottles, and we had a Zoom and got to talk to and find out who our Secret Santa was. And having a Zoom out of the UK means it's daytime for us, right, over here in the States. So it was 2 p.m. my time. And come to find out, it was noon for my Secret Santa. So they got us day drinking on a weekday right before Christmas. All that to say, I didn't feel like I could do justice to this beautiful setup. So I asked my Secret Santa when I found out who he was if we could do it on live. And he was very generous and said, well, absolutely. I'd love to do, glad, please go ahead. And I was like, okay, second question, can you join me? So for better or for worse, I have roped him in on it. And I would love for all of you all to welcome my buddy, my fellow Islay Whisky Academy attendee, alumni. I don't know how you would say it, but please do welcome Rick Johnson here, who's feeling peaty. Hey, friend.
Hi,
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
Well,
How are you
good.
doing?
I'm doing well. I'm a little nervous, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. I really won't. I'm just sitting looking at these 5 beautiful drams and the generosity that you put this together, because it's one thing, you know, to share whiskey. We all love sharing whiskey. We certainly like getting whiskey, but I think putting a challenge together has a lot of thought to it and takes some preparation and time. And so, first and foremost, before you even have a drink of any of this, thank you for, taking the time to put all this together.
My pleasure. Really, it was. I mean, it's Christmas, but it's also that whole thing about sharing drams. That's a year-long thing.
Yeah.
Like we were saying. I mean, we love doing that.
Yeah.
So
It's a lot of fun.
yeah.
So we have let me turn around. We have A, B, C, D, and E. And so yeah, I'm gonna look at oh, that's a beautiful way to show that. Look at that color. Woo-wee. So I've pre-poured them. And I haven't I haven't had a moment to really taste them. Is there anything I need to know? Or we're just gonna you definitely know what it is, and you included these
Yes.
sample identification sheets.
All right. The one thing I would say is you want to drink them in order
Okay.
because the fifth one
Got some
a little
punch,
bit,
I'm guessing.
a little bit more of a punch. Yeah, yeah.
Feeling kind of like you are right now. Oh man. Okay. Well, cool.
So before you get started, uh, just remember that, and I'm sure you've heard it before, but there's that great old story with Jim McEwen where he was doing a tasting in New York, and there were these guys who were drinking there during the tasting, and they wanted to challenge him and put 5 blind tastes up there. And he said, okay, sure, I'll do that. And he excused himself and went into the other room to the bar, and he bribed the bartender to tell him what the 5 were. So then he came back and was able to. But even Jim McEwen knew I'm gonna look bad if I try to do a blind tasting. So
Right.
don't worry about it. You're in good company.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I mean, one of my resolutions this year was to do more blinds, not, so much for the aspect of trying to get something right, but I just feel like you learn so much. I think it was George. Yeah, yeah. Whiskey blind challenges are the best, and they are because there's nothing on here to tell me any kind of marketing or any kind of you know just there's no pretense at all. It's just a whiskey and a glass.
Yeah.
And I love that because then it should stand on its own. And I know you've probably done this too where you've had one of your favorites in a blind and you're like, what the hell is this? And it's like, why is it your favorite? Is
Yeah.
it? So I think we learn a lot about it for sure.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, we're all susceptible to marketing on one level or another.
Yeah.
So are you starting with A right now?
I'm starting with A, but I want to take a sniff of everything real quick and just so I've got them covered up with little well I did until I dropped no nonsense whiskey. Sorry, Ben. Sorry, Ben.
All right. I'm doing your A as well.
Okay, so that's what I was about to say. Clearly, you know what they are. I would say clearly, however, one other previous blind that Gregor set up, he kind of wasn't quite sure what they were. So, goodness. All right. So, let me get.
So now, how do you want to do this? Are you gonna try and guess each one as you go along, or you're going to do all 5 and then go back?
I'll probably go all 5 and go back. So my question to you is in the reveal, is it what each of them is, or are there any questions tied to them?
No, it's what they are, but each one of them is on its own individual little slip of paper.
So, okay, so from that we can kind of figure out
each page out if you need to do that.
Okay, so what I'll probably let's just kind of go through this first chance, and then we'll kind of go by taste preference, just what we like and what we're smelling and what we like.
Mm-hmm.
That is really blind. There's oh my goodness. I really like the nose on A. So again, here's our A color. Beautiful honey amber. It's not too viscous, but there's kind of a melon and a honey, a kind of slight citrus note. I feel like I'm speed driving here. um, hmm. Hmm. It's very light.
Is it though?
Is it though? I guess light is relative to a person's palate, though. I mean, and light to me is not a bad thing. It's not like a lightweight kind of thing. Mm. Wow, I don't know. Now I'm seeing it's kind of got an oily texture to it, doesn't it?
So, do you want me for each one of these maybe to give you a little hint in terms of I could reveal the ABV for each one?
We could do that, or you could tell me what you're tasting too. I think that would be kind of cool. You're gonna taste all of them along with me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you?
So I get lemony. I get vanilla.
Almost a little grapefruit on there, like that pith. I get that a lot on. I don't get any peat on this. Maybe a little char, but not. And the finish is it's still a little warming there, but it's not
definitely a
super hot.
sweetness.
Say again?
There's definitely a sweetness.
Yeah. The sweetness hangs there on the finish. But the sweetness, kind of orchard fruit, maybe. A clean fruit, like a clean sweetness, not a heavy saccharin or sugar.
No.
Mm.
And kind of malty.
Yeah. I'm thinking ABV is about 46. Am I close?
Is that a question you want me to answer?
Sure.
Well,
let me ask that. Do you have that on the slips to where
it's on the slip? Yeah.
So yeah, let's not do that then.
Okay.
Because I kind of want to go there. So I'm going to make some notes about A being light but oily. And then I've got some citrus, vanilla, honey, and it's got warm light finish. I can't read my own writing. And then I'm going to go with 46% on that one. And I'm going to say it's a bourbon cask. Yeah. It's very nice. Very tasty. Goodness. So, you can always, like Nessa's in. Hello, my friend. Hello, my friend. Thanks for being in. Graham says that the imminent Scotch news here is the inaugural release later today, which would be Wednesday for him, of whiskey from Falkirk Distillery. Oh. Wow. Man, you always get the download on here, I swear. It's like, you heard it here, folks. Oh. Okay, now we got some peat working. So this is B,
This is
and
B.
this beautiful color. So this is in my whiskey cask glass. I
Mhm.
am going through withdrawals because the Victoria Whiskey Festival is this weekend. And we're not there. But look at this at this is B. Isn't she pretty? Just working around B. So tell me
Okay.
how you got into whiskey. Well, I'm nosing and pondering.
Um, I was not so much a whiskey person as I was a beer person for a
Mm,
long time, and I occasionally have whiskeys, but my like big push into whiskey is a great story. This was in the early '90s. Yes, I'm old. Um, I was in radio at the time, and one of my
Okay,
friends.
well, I gotta stop there because it makes total sense because you have such a good voice.
Oh, thank you.
And watching your videos, and Mark, if you would go ahead and post those links in the chat. But yes, you have such a good voice, especially on your reviews.
That's nice. Thank you. I like hearing that. Um, but so one of my friends in radio called me up. He says, "What are you doing tomorrow?" And I said, "I'm going to work." He said, "You're not going to work. You're going to call out sick, and we're going to go drink whiskey." And I said, "Okay." And so we went we're in San Francisco and up on Nob Hill. There's a very nice hotel called the Mark Hopkins,
Wow.
and we went up to the Mark Hopkins, and we walk in, and there's this huge table. It's got a great window that looks out over the top of Nob Hill, and there are two gentlemen and this huge row of whiskeys. And apparently, they had invited a whole bunch of people to this thing, a bunch of media people. And my friend and I were the only two who showed up. And the main guy of these two guys was some guy named Pip Hills from Edinburgh.
Wow.
And what it was in the early
Holy moly.
90s, when the Scotch Malt Whisky Society was trying to make a push into the US, they had a US chapter, but it really wasn't very big. So the guy he was in Miami, who was the head of the Scotch Malt Whisky Society in the US, he and Pip were doing this tour. And so
Gee,
at the time, I didn't know who Pip Hills was, but it
that
was
was
like, oh, this
10.
is a really nice guy with a great accent. And he's pouring whiskey. And so he was the guy. I learned from Pip Hills how to drink whiskey. He taught me about,
Wow.
how you drink it, the speed, adding water to it, I mean, all of this stuff, and how to appreciate the nose and the tastes and the smells. It's like, it wasn't until like a number of years later that it was that realization. It's like, oh my God,
That's
that
that guy.
was Pip Hills. The Pip
Wow.
Hills. But yeah, so that was kind of how I got into whiskey.
Okay. So from that experience, you just kind of started delving into different types of whiskey all the way across the board, or primarily Scotch then, or
Yeah, it was Scotch. I was into Scotch whiskey, and my first love was Islay Smoky Peaty whiskeys, and for the longest time, that's what I drank. And then it was, little by little, you start to try other flavor profiles, and you work your way around the flavor wheel.
yeah.
And now it's like, yes, I'll have some of that, and some of that, some of that.
Do you like whiskey? Yeah. What kind of whiskey you like? Yes.
Yes.
That's funny. So I'm definitely getting peat on this on the nose. A little charcoal and some sweet feed. Like so I had horses growing up. So it's that molasses, malty, the kind of grain and molasses.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm digging that.
Yep. I get that smoky taste. I get the caramel kind of flavor on the nose.
Yeah, I'm getting a brown sugar kind of campfire on the taste.
Mm-hmm.
This one I think is a little warmer, maybe 48, 50. It's not like whew, like when you get up into some of our friend Pip's expressions, or I've got a Glen Talkers over there knocking on the door at 64 or 65 ABV, and it drinks like a 45. It's just really, it's a dangerous dram. So
Dangerous. Yep.
good.
Yep.
Mm. Wow,
Now, how long
really.
have you been doing Scotch on the Bayou?
So it started in 2017 as Instagram. So it was, I call my channel, it's the spinoff. I'm the Laverne and Shirley of the Happy Days of the Scotch for Dummies. That's what, so I was just really enjoyed watching them, and it became our Thursday night date. Mark and I would watch them on the big screen. We'd have
Yeah.
dinner and sit down and have a dram of something, and then watch them, and just befriended and got to be. I mean, the Dummies are such good friends of mine now, and I think I was one of the first people to be on their show in the bar. And it's like, yeah, honey, I'm going to get on a plane from Louisiana. I'm going to fly up and meet four dudes in a basement in suburban Indianapolis and talk Scotch. And thankfully the man I'm married to is understanding it well enough. But they are truly exactly as they are on there. And from the more I wanted to learn, the more I started talking about it, and then writing a blog, and just kind of doing things like that, and really working on Instagram. And since we have our camp in the swamp, and Louisiana is such a very niche kind of place, having Scotch on the bayou, that's what we do. We go to the camp, we chill out, we're literally at the river, and we're drinking single malt, and doing that, it just kind of like evolved from there. And then I wanted to do everything I could to learn more, which is the whole reason I got to know you, is because of this absolute, thirst for knowledge of this stuff, just wanting
Mhm.
to learn more. And I ended up going and doing the Islay Whisky Academy. Actually, that's the year that Rachel had a competition for it, for a spot. And I was the one who won the competition.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Which was crazy. And just I wanted to learn as much as I could, and I found out, especially through that experience, that it's just not a commodity on a shelf. It is the sum of a lot of love, blood, sweat, and tears, and personality that go into the whiskey. And from my other classmates to the greater, extended to like you, we weren't in the same class, but we definitely, have the same interests and understanding, having had some of that experience.
We both dug Pete on Isla.
We have dug Pete on Isla.
Yeah.
And yes, and my regulars are probably, they're like, oh, there she goes again. But my name is on a peat shed because I got
Yeah.
all three of my bricks up.
Mine is too.
Awesome. I love it. I keep saying, next time I go back, I'm going to go out and haul my butt out there in the middle of that bog across from the airport and go look at my name, see if it's still Leanne Gillett Rayner, Louisiana, USA, written on there. That's awesome. And I mean, what an experience to be able to have, right? You're there with like-minded people that are very attuned to, you know, and it's not a snob thing. It's a geek thing.
Yeah.
It's a nerd thing where you just want to get in there and really just talk whiskey.
Mhm.
It's awesome. Oh me. So I'm on C now.
All right.
So this is the color for C, and if this helps at this point, this is A, B, and C here. So I probably should do them the other way around, but yeah, you got A. Some pretty similar in color. Hey, happy New Year to you too, Whiskey Nose. Good to see you, my friend. Uh, okay. This is pretty delicate on the nose. Oh, just very rich. I almost want to say it's kind of a winey nose to it.
I can see that. Yeah.
Mm. And this one is in my Louisiana Bourbon Festival glass. So we were talking a little bit beforehand, but you went to the academy right still when COVID was a big deal. So kind of had a bit of a drill down version, and unfortunately have to be extremely safe version of it.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't completely shut down. We definitely got into some distilleries and got some tours, but there were some, like I mentioned, going to Brookladdy, and basically walked in and they took us into the visitor center. You can buy T-shirts and things, but yeah, I mean, even with that scaled down version, it was still extraordinary. You know, we still had even some of the people that we had to have come in on Zoom calls were still exceptional experiences.
Yeah.
And still, you know, learning about metallurgy and learning about yeast and just amazing fonts of knowledge of the people that Rachel was able to bring together.
It really is.
Yeah.
And you know, whether or not they were there in person, the access to somebody like that, as was it Dr. Graham for talking about the yeast?
No, and I'm blanking on her name, but she was actually there live.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah,
but the caliber of people and just, you know, having that access to them, that's just not something you can call up a university and say, hey, can we talk about yeast for about 90 minutes? It's not going to happen. You know, not unless you have a nice donation or something like that. So C is interesting. I got that front little one. I'm still getting grapefruit, and I know I don't have a candle with it or anything around here.
Yeah, it's funny. I know what it is, and when I taste it, it's like it's not what I would have picked. It's not the distillery I would have thought this is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I'm getting the peat and the smoke on the finish, not on the palate on the front end at all.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, the palate, I'm getting like a light wispy honey, like a watery honey, a little vanilla.
I will tell you this, because of our connection to the Islay Whisky Academy, 3 of the 5 are from Islay.
Okay. I'm guessing this is going to be one. We'll see. Pretty good odds. Very tasty. Okay. So trying to watch our time on that. So tell us about, I'm gonna work for D now, and just to kind of show everybody D. Hello, look at that color. Right? Now for something different. So tell me about the Whisky Zone. When did you get started with that?
That I started it about 2.5 years ago.
That's about the same time me. Yeah. Okay.
And it was, I was not and will never be a whiskey expert. I just was really curious about whiskeys, and I, as my lovely wife likes to remind me, I tend to purchase a lot of whiskey. And I thought, I think I'd like to talk about it, because I also had a background in video production.
Okay.
So it made sense to try and bring all of that together and try to talk about it. But
Yeah. All those
I
talents. You got the voice, the video production, man.
Why not?
The passion for
It's like
whiskey.
I also was a realist in the idea that the last thing in the world that the world needed was somebody else going on YouTube and talking about whiskey. It's like, my God, what's wrong with these people? But what I found, I mean, part of my inspiration was watching all the other people out there who do YouTube, whether it's reviews or interviews or just talking about the whiskey industry, people that I'm just blown away by, like that they have so much knowledge and they have just it's entertaining to watch them. But there's a lot of people who I love and I really enjoy watching, who I look at that and I say, okay, I'm going to have to devote an hour and a half to that. I'm going to have to devote 2 hours to that, because there's a thing that happens with whiskey and a forum to talk about it.
Right.
You talk about it. And so with a lot of these things, it's kind of like, all right, I don't have time to watch this person this week. I may not have time to watch them next week because I just don't have the time commitment to do all of those.
Yeah.
So I looked at it and said, let me find a little niche for it. And so all of my Whisky Zone reviews are 5 minutes.
It's beautiful. I mean,
and yeah,
I mean, you're concise. You get to it. You say what you think about it, and you move on. I mean, it's brilliant, y'all.
Again, I try to throw in a little bit about the distillery, or a little bit about the whiskey or the bottle or something, some other little associated information, and then my review. And the other thing that I also thought a lot about was whether or not to give it an actual number.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people don't, and that's cool. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't.
And a lot of people do like 1 to 100. And I thought, I don't want to do 1 to 100, because when somebody says, well, this whiskey is an 87 and this whiskey is an 88, say, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
But so I did a scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah.
Because I figure it's kind of easier to understand the difference between a 10 and a 5, or a 10 and a 7. So I do that just as a point of reference. And I haven't done enough of them that I'm going back and redoing ones that I had done like several years earlier, but I can absolutely see doing that.
Yeah.
And saying, this batch, last time I did it, it got an 8, and now it's got a 9. And
yeah. Well, and I mean, too, it's interesting to see how a whiskey changes in the progression of the bottle. Even some things, a neck poured to the first third are like, and let it sit there and open up a little bit, and you go back and revisit it, and it's like, is this really the same whiskey that you remembered? This sherry, it's very dry, very sherry. I get a lot of nuttiness on it, a little tannic, nice sweet warm finish. With some burnt sugars in there, like a little caramel.
Yep.
Little citrus. But more kind of that dry, oaky kind of thing on the end. Almost like the dryness of a walnut or a pecan that's been roasted, not like a raw one, but it's been roasted. It's very nice. Very nice. Okay. We're probably going to go a little past an hour. We laugh about, me being so Southern. I have words for everything, and speed ramming through this. We're going to see Leanne get adorable to precious real quick. Okay. E. Hello. So here's our beautiful E. All of them are so pretty. I'm like one of those things where I'm getting peat averse on the nose. Like, especially if I'm on a peat kick, I get to where I can't pick it up. Like going to D with that sherry, and now for something completely different. Yes, I channeled Monty Python all through my travels in Scotland. I swear, I ended up in the Doom Castle. I was like, "Where's the vicious white rabbit?" That was great.
Rabbit.
I know, right? And Graham's all about the yeast too. Definitely a future stream. That would be a good one. Would be a really good one to talk about yeast for sure.
Hi, Graham.
So okay, so I'm definitely get on E. Again, a really nicely balanced peat on this one. And peat and malt. Whew, with a little brine.
Little Brian. Yeah.
I do like a briny dram. I like, whether it's Old Pulteney 12, salty malty, or if it's a Talisker, briny and smoky.
Yep.
Just absolutely adore that salt. And like Glen Scotia's, I can pick it out. Just like usually. Watch me not be this man. I don't think this is a Campbelltown. We'll see. Oh, wow. Much sweeter on the front end of the palate and warm. Definitely has some heat to this one.
Yep.
This one's a 55 or plus.
Heat in the back of the throat.
Yeah.
I'm really doing this in my
almost mentholy
glass.
Oh man. Okay. That is very nice. All of them are very good. So first and foremost, thank you for that.
All right, welcome. My pleasure.
I think E's kind of B was my predecessing favorite. And then I think E just eclipsed it a bit. That's interesting. Oh man. Tasty. Okay. I got little cards everywhere. I got my A, I got my B. Where's my B? There's my B. Okay. And C and D. Okay. I think we might.
What would you say was your favorite of the 5?
I think E is now.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't turn one of them down.
Yeah.
What else are you getting on E?
It's funny because I got almost a little fruit on the initial taste.
Yeah.
But then there's definitely smoke that kind of covers it all up. That's kind of like a campfire.
I was just saying campfire at the end when you might need to throw some water on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love y'all. I really do. Graham's like, D could be port or red wine finish when you take a look at that color, which is really pretty funny concerning the next video I got coming out. Yes, I have a video coming out. Can you believe it? Mr. Great Shot is here. Hello, friend. Yes, don't worry about the time. Sipping a great Graham. Absolutely. Thanks for being here. Yeah, E definitely has a campfire. And the ABV is on that. Okay. So are we ready to find out what the 5 bottles are?
Sure.
I have not, y'all. This has been burning a hole in my pocket for
the hermetically sealed envelope.
I know. So we're gonna find out. So these are gonna be 5 pieces of paper. Oh, yep. I see. Okay. And here they are. Aha. Okay. Wow. So you have them listed as what they are. Then
Oh yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, I was going to try to figure out which one was which. But oh my heavens. Oh my heavens. I'm looking at all of this going, oh my heavens. There's no way that's only 43. Okay, so definitely. So this first one, A.
First one, A.
First one, A. Let's go back over, looking at it was light, citrus, warm, 46 ABV. Ah, citrus. That is true straight on for what it is.
Yeah.
Bourbon cask. It is Compass Box Hedonism, which is a blended grain and non-chill filtered 43. So there you go. We all know what that tastes like. More than likely, everybody. Ah, very nice. Probably. So remind me, does this have Lafroig and Kalila in it or just Kalila? I'm trying to remember.
Let's see if they say it on the box here. I mean, on the bottle.
It's like one of those things. Like now that I'm tasting it, I kind of feel
print to read.
Oh yeah, it's too teeny. It's teeny tiny.
Yeah,
but it's one of those things where now I can taste the grain. Now, really, can I really now? It's like sure, Jan. How's that for a reference to our age group? Sure, Jan. If you don't know what that is, you're probably under 40.
But knowing that it's a grain whiskey, it's a grain blend.
Yeah.
It's light. It's refreshing.
Clean, very clean. So when I say something's light, I think a lot of people think, well, oh, it's not very potent, or what I mean is like it's fresh and clean and crisp. It's not just something that where it's just, it's not a flyaway whiskey or anything like that. It's just it has such a good fruity nose on it though. Exceptional. Always good for hedonism. It's always good to be a little hedonistic, right? Yeah. On live YouTube.
I did get a chance to meet John Glazer, and he does pronounce it hedonism.
Hedonism. Okay.
Hedonism, because that's how it is pronounced in the UK. So,
well, down here in the South, this is Louis Broussard was this wonderful humorist that wrote for, I think, one of the Atlanta papers. I'm gonna say it's the Constitution, and he'll probably rise up out of his grave if it's not the right one. But he was an absolute gem and a treasure of the South with the way he wrote. And he said, down here, there's a big difference between naked and naked. Naked, you don't have any clothes on. Naked, you ain't got clothes on. You up to something. So it depends on where you're from, on how you say things. And if it's hedonism, you up to something probably here. It could be hedonism and be proper and above board in the UK. The boy's from New York, isn't he? So, come on. Okay, B, which was one of my faves, right? I mean, oh goodness, going back and revisiting this. Peat, sweet pea. Definitely, the malt there, that campfire. I can so totally see this. Y'all, get this. 9-year, 48 ABV. I don't think I put the thing on there. Again, no color, non-chill filtered. A Kilhoman 2010 vintage, 9-year. Wow, Rick, holy moly. Thank you so much for sharing that. Wow. That's just delightful. So Graham's asking about what your criteria was: price, personal favorite, style, regions. I would guess it was going to be part of it was going to be region because we're part of the Islay Whisky Academy, and that was the whole gift exchange thing. But any other rhyme or reason?
Mostly it was the stuff I didn't like and I wanted to get rid of.
You did joke that you were going to send me 5 different versions of bells.
Yeah.
I would have drunk them.
Yeah. No, it was kind of that tying Isla into it, and trying to find stuff that maybe you wouldn't have bought that often off the shelf.
No, I've never had that.
Yeah, that one was. I think that was a limited release, so it was kind of hard to find. But I guess, specifically, it was in answer to Graham's question, just finding something that I thought you might like that was kind of fun.
Oh, this is fun. It's just like getting into all of it. And this one, see, as we work through that, I'm laughing my tail off because Jennifer and I were just talking about this. So Jennifer, for you, I think she might have popped in here earlier. I'm not sure. But Jen and I were roommates at the Islay Whisky Academy, and she's about to go to Springbank School in March. But she and I did an entire video. I say an entire video. It was 2-something hours. I had to cut down to about 45 minutes, which is far beyond your nicely, wonderful, succinct 5-minute videos. But we went across, I think, 5 different committee releases of Ardbeg. She is an absolute Ardbeg fiend. And so she would be screaming over C. Which, when I look back at C on my notes, where's C go? Grapefruit. I usually get some kind of lemon, some kind of citrus off of, I will say that, off of Ardbegs. But this is, C is the Ardbeg fermentation. It's a 13-year-old, and it's the 49.9 committee release, non-chill filtered. And you know the story. You know the story about this one, right?
Yeah.
It just kind of sat too long.
Yeah.
They had some trouble with the stills or something, and they couldn't move it. So it just sat and fermented for way too long. And it's got that funk. It's almost got like a Campbelltown funk to it, you know?
The thing that drives me crazy, though, is of all 5 I sent you, it's the only one they add color to.
Did they really?
Well, yeah, because they don't say anything on the label. Come on, Ardbeg. You
That's
say that it's non-chill
Ardbeg.
filtered, but there's nothing about the color.
Ciao.
Knock it off.
What's her name that's there? Not Marsha. What's her name? Shoot. She's we'll have to find somebody. Call Rod. Rod, what's going on?
Who? At Ardbeg?
Yeah.
There's Wee Emma who does the tours.
Yeah, Rod did our tour. Did they do like a scavenger hunt with y'all of the different, or were they even open?
Yeah.
You gotta do it. You have to have a do-over. You have to do a do-over.
So. Yeah.
But you've done tours over there other than the Whisky Academy, right?
Yeah.
And you've done Edinburgh Whisky Academy, which is on my list.
Yeah.
Did you do that there, or like one of their satellite offerings?
I'm sorry, for
Edinburgh.
What?
Edinburgh Whisky Academy.
I've done the satellite ones, and I think I'm going back in September or October this year to do the live one.
Yeah. Oh. This one, is this the one you said that doesn't smell like the one that you thought would be from that distillery? Or was that B?
That was C.
Oh, it was C. Yeah, this one. Yeah, C. Yeah, it doesn't really present like an Ardbeg on the front end. But really tasty. I mean, I do like still getting the peat, the vanilla, the honeys, a slight citrusy kind of thing going.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 13-year-old. They did a really nice job with it.
Yeah. It's pretty balanced, you know, when you think about that. Which of these were your favorite of the 5? Are we there yet? Did you have a fave?
Probably the Kilhoman.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Although I'm like, yeah.
The 4th one, D, is also pretty awesome.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay, so I had D. I was so off on the ABV on E. On D, I did not think it was this hot. Now, well, my nose just kind of got that heat there, having it covered up. Mr. Great Shot says they could make Ardbeg as dark as coffee and I'd still drink it. Yeah, move over, boo. We'd all be drinking that. That's pretty funny. Okay, so this beautiful. Do we know? Well, you'll be able to tell us what the casking is on this if you still have the bottle. SMWS is our D bottle. 68.107. Shout out to Pip, a Blair Athol.
Yep.
Beautiful brownie bites. A 14-year. There we go. Oop, let me do that. So ABV 53.8. That would be the one I'd highlight. Wow. So what's our cask on that? I can't read without my glasses.
You're making me put mine on too.
That's the way it works.
Yeah. So the initial cask was ex-bourbon hogshead, and the final cask was first fill ex-Oloroso hogshead.
Okay, that makes sense with the nuttiness of it, you know? So a good, nice bourbon base. And how old was it? It was the 14.
It was a 14-year-old.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was the hottest. It was at 53.8. But
so it did not taste as hot to me as the last one, but the last one, I think the heat was the youth. Yeah. So that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I don't have a lot. I've got a few bottles, but I don't have a lot of experience with Blair Athol. But
yeah,
I really like this one.
This I would like to sit out for a good while. Like this to me needs some time and room in the glass, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because even from the first time I sipped it to now, it's kind of bloomed out. Where to me, it was very savory on the front end before, and now I'm getting more of the fruits, the dark fruits, and it's opening up a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
These are very nice size samples for a blind friend. I'm going to enjoy going back through these for sure. Oh goodness.
Yeah, I'm thinking the greatest retirement job that I could ever hope for would be to work for the Scotch Malt Whisky Society and come up with the names for the bottles.
You know, as a writer of highly technical information, that is the best job thought ever, you know, to come up with those tasty. I have to giggle at half of them for sure. It's just like, wait, what?
Yeah. My favorite Scotch Malt Whisky Society bottle that I got, I will admit, just for the name, was Spock's Earwax.
Oh, gee. Was it Klein Leash?
I don't even know what it was. I haven't opened it yet. It was
I bet Google could tell us. Google could tell us everything. That's awesome. Oh man. Oh, that's a nice bottle. It's got your first where'd it go? I just clicked on it. Um shoot. There we go. Whiskey nose. Sorry. Just received your Kilhoman Makir Bay cask strength. Yum.
Ooh.
Very nice. Yum. I bet that's a good one. The one time I had it was very tasty. So Donna wants to know, where did you get your empty bottles?
Amazon.
Yes.
Yeah, I just ordered a box and there's a whole bunch of empty ones, and I will let you know. I'll contact you later and let you know what those were. And I will also mention Donna is somebody that,
Right.
ironically, we live 20 minutes away from one another, and we met on the island of Islay at the island.
Isn't that right?
Which is great.
I'm like 5 hours rather down from Houston to Baton Rouge, and I meet Jennifer over there. You're 20 minutes away from Donna, and you meet over there.
And now we're great friends, and it would have never happened if it wasn't for Whiskey and the Islay Whisky Academy and just growing the community.
The world works really crazy because Graham and I are at the Curly Q pub, and a woman from Norway walks in. And when she starts talking, she sounds like me, and I'm like, she ain't from Norway. And come to find out she's from Baton Rouge. It's like, how in the hell did that happen? You know?
Yeah.
Been in Norway for 27 years, but you can't run from Dubai, Yusha. I'm saying. Oh man. He is just so I don't know if George is still on, but George, this is very, very close to 10.3 that we had on our advent calendar this year. And as hot as it is, it's only 43 ABV. But that kick is all on youth because it's 5 years old, and it was the Octomore 10.1. 43. Absolutely glorious. What is the casking on this one, friend? It's got something sweet in there.
Yeah, then I'll tell you.
None on that one. I'll have to go back and research and look at that one.
Yeah. I can tell you the ppm is 107.
Okay. Oof. You know, I think you get a law of diminishing returns with that, you know, because when you have to think about, okay, the ppm is 107 on the barley as it was, you know, malted, but it still had to go through a lot of chemical reactions to come out the other side. And it's in a cask for 5 years, which is basically a filter. So, you know, it's just interesting to see how much of that comes through. The Octomores, I just find they're high peat, high ppm, but they're just so well-rounded to me. The ones that I've had, and granted, I haven't had a whole lot of them because it is quite a pricey bottle. But it is really, really tasty. Man, these are amazing, Rick. Amazing.
I'm glad you like them.
Santa did so well this year. Oh, goodness. But yeah, those are so good. So do you kind of go through spurts you kind of go through an Islay phase and then go through a Highland phase or a Speyside phase, or how do you kind of drink your whiskey?
And you know, like, I'm also very receptive to what people that I appreciate their opinions say about different whiskeys. So yes, when I was, you know, listening to the Barflies talk about best drams of the year, it's like, oh, that's a good one. Maybe I should try that. Maybe I should try that.
Yeah.
I think that part of the joy of drinking whiskey is that sharing.
Yeah.
So even if it's not somebody sitting at a bar together handing somebody a dram, if you're talking to somebody, you're listening to somebody online, and they say, "This is the most amazing whiskey that I've had all year," you can't discount that.
Right.
So, like, I absolutely listen to what people suggest and say, and a lot of the things I buy are because of that.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
one of the things I absolutely love is Roy Duff when he does his and my mind just went blank, the recycled
Recycled
reviews.
reviews. Yeah.
Yeah, where he's saying this was good. This was really, hey, there's a little bit left in this bottle. Let me get that. It's like I love that, and
Yeah.
I bought several bottles because of his
Yep.
suggestions as he's throwing bottles out.
I literally found a sticky note today that had a rundown from one of his whiskey recycled reviews.
Uh-huh.
And it had, well, one of the bottles was a Talisker 8
Ooh.
limited edition one that he shared when I was over there about to go to the academy. And I was on a show. We did an impromptu live, totally unplanned. It's like, hey, you want to do live? I'm like, sure, let's go.
Yeah.
And before I had the channel or anything like that. And that I don't chase bottles, but I would love to find that 2019 Talisker 8 just because of the nostalgic part of it. And it was so freaking good. And we had the 16 Anok, which was almost fizzy. And that was another one that he had in the recycled review. And I'm watching the review and I'm going, he's going to talk about how it's fizzy and effervescent. And sure enough, he did, and it was cool to kind of relive that part of it. Right. But you think, okay, well, these people, they've had a lot of whiskey, odds are if they like it, it might be something that I like. Everybody's palate's different. And it's okay if you don't, but that's another reason I love sharing whiskey because, you can share and have a whiskey and let other people have that experience with it and not maybe make that commitment. And if they want to make the commitment to buy the bottle, then they can do that later on. Sharing an Octomore is sharing anyway is very generous. An Octomore is not a thrifty bottle. So being able to have some of that, before you maybe decide to go and invest in a bottle that like that is quite the gift. So all of these are just fantastic. I can't thank you enough for sharing them.
Yeah.
And making the game out of it. This is the best part of it for sure. Being able to and because I could have just sat there and go, oh well, that was the Octomore, isn't that nice? This is so much more fun. It is. Everybody's like all excited. Whiskey knows it's like that 14.1 is gonna drop pretty soon. Pretty soon for sure. So yeah. So and George helped us out here. The 10.1 was first fill ex bourbon casks.
Oh, okay.
So that is straight on from the taste bud. The taste bud and my buddy. But yeah, adorable. Well, very cool. Well, tell us. So you just actually released a video again tonight on McLean's Nose, of all things.
I did. Yes, I just new review dropped today. Yeah.
So everybody, make sure you go out and give a subscription to
shameless
Rick.
plug. Subscribe.
Absolutely. Hit the like. Do all the things. Make the algorithm happy. But yeah,
I'll just throw out there the one thing that I love about it is, like I know there are people out there who do the videos so they can get over 1,000 subscribers and they can monetize, and I don't care about any of that. It's like if I get a couple hundred people who like it, I'm in heaven. That's it's perfect.
And that's the way, and Roy, when I talked to Roy about doing this adventure, and he's like, I was like, well, I'm going to do all this stuff different. And he goes, no, you're not. He says, you can do it like everybody else. You can do the same review of the same bottle of everybody else. But the way you do it and the way you do it, Rick, those are different. And you put your own personality, your own spin to it, your own thoughts. And that's what makes it unique because it's you. You have decided to make people's time respectfully understood
Yeah.
and being able to give them such good value at 5 minutes.
Mhm.
That's a big deal. If you're in a liquor store, I'm just gonna tell you now, folks, it may take you a while to get through most of your, reviews, but you're gonna, like, get your blog has a database, you're able to go and search your site to see what you have reviewed. I mean, that's very valuable and easy. People can kinda get an idea from your comments on what it is that they think, and how well that's gonna match their palate, and then they can make a good
Yeah.
decision there. So you're doing a big favor for a lot of people for sure.
Well, thank you. That's
I'm
very
glad.
nice for you to say that. I
Yeah,
appreciate that. Thank
I'm
you.
glad. I'm glad you're in the web and among us and part of the kinship, and
Yeah.
and I love y'all.
And having fun.
Yeah, because
And wearing stuff like this.
I know, feeling peaty. You go to the grocery store and that, and you kind of get a bombastic side eye, like, but you're just like, oh, poor thing. You've never had Pete in your life. Claire, you have no idea what this means. So, yes, what is Rick's channel again? I'm going to post it again in the chat. I know Mark probably it
The
can do
Whisky
that too.
Zone.
But the
And
Whisky Zone, you
I
click
will
on
also
it.
say that as we've been doing this,
Uh-huh.
off on the right-hand side on my screen, on the right-hand side, there's a whole bunch of comments.
Yeah.
Close up, I'm blind as a bat. I have no idea what people are saying. If somebody's been saying something to me, I apologize for not saying, oh, yeah. It's like, I don't know what they're saying.
I know. But it's like, it's called my age demographic vein. So Whiskey Nose just subs. Yay. Thanks for doing that. Yay. No, Mr. Great Shot did. Awesome. Well, now you have to. Yep, Whiskey just sub. Cheers, Rick. Yay. And it's part of that. It is not about let's I'm not ever going to give one of those big silver plaque YouTube button.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. I'm okay with that. Just like you. If I can bring some value to stuff, if I can share things, then I will,
And you do. I mean, I've watched yours, and I've participated live with yours. And the thing about when you do this whole thing, you bring joy to it.
No.
And it's just you can't fake that. It's like you're knowledgeable, but it's so personable and fun, and it's so easy to watch when you do Scotch on the Bayou.
Well, that's what I'm out after, I'm pretty stoked. I've got so Camp Drammer, you'll get it tomorrow. Yes, a video. Hallelujah. And it's the Camp Dram, and at the end of the Camp Dram, and it's for the Glenmorangie Kenta Reuben. It is a tour of the camp. Finally, a tour of the camp. So everybody hears about the camp and all of what we're doing. You're finally going to get to see the inside of the camp. So I'm pretty stoked about that. And then in 2 weeks after that, I've been working on the video, and my face hurts watching the video because it was so much fun. I have an absolutely fabulous interview with Callum Ray, who's the distillery manager at Holyrood. And we could have waxed poetically about whiskey for hours.
Nice.
He is absolutely precious. And and it's going to be a little lengthy one, but it is so worth it. He is just the enthusiasm and the creativity that oozes out of this guy. That there's going to be some really cool things happening with Holyrood, even past their inaugural release of their arrival. So those are things that are coming up. What have you got coming up with the channel for the next month or so?
Let's see. The next one coming up is, I think it's a Springbank. And then I think I'm going India.
Okay.
And I've also got some that I picked up on my recent trip to Boston.
Okay. Fun.
Which was kind of fun. Went into some like really old whiskey shop and found this guy who was very old, very like had a hard time breathing.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, what kind of whiskey do you like? "Oh, I like them all. Well, I like independent bottlers. What do you got? Hold on. And he takes this long walk down into the
Oh,
basement.
God.
And I'm thinking I'm going to kill this guy. He's like, well, he comes back 10 minutes later and he's got this bottle. And it's like, wow, I like that. Okay, I'll buy that. It's like,
Wow.
so, yeah.
Awesome. I like just, the dusties and finding the little treasures. That
Yeah.
kind of stuff is super. Ah, so super. Well, yeah. So thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you
Thank you
for
for these
inviting me.
beautiful drams. My secret Santa. My beautiful I just love this. My little secret Santa. And look how cool this is, y'all, with his pin, his badge. They call them badges over there. I'm trying to learn my vernacular. Isn't that cool? How cool. But no, I really do appreciate it. I'm going to pour a little bit more of that Octomore as we
Mhm.
say our goodbyes. Thanks everyone for joining. Camp Drummers, stay tuned to tomorrow. Make sure you have notifications on and you'll get pinged as soon as the membership only version of the video goes up. Everybody else will see it on Thursday. But yeah, super excited. Thank you for doing this. Thanks for being on here with me. It would have been fun to just to kind of go through them, but it was super fun with you
Yeah.
being on here in a kindred spirit.
It was my
So,
pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. And I look forward to. So, what do you have coming up next?
well, those videos, and then working on some more camp drams. We're trying to get down to the camp. It's gonna be interesting to see how high the water is after all this rain that just came through. And we got more coming this weekend. But yeah, doing that and trying to one particular video I'm working on. Graham's helping me. I've got like 3 or 4 people out there that are helping me with this, but a pretty extensive series on planning your whiskey trip to Scotland, mainly to not do the things that I've done wrong. And to just be able to make it what you want, and and really know what those questions are on the front end. Like, what are you trying to get out of this visit? Is it relaxation, or is it I want to see every distillery I could possibly see?
Right.
And if that's the case, I might argue with you on how what your total value is going to be with that strategy. So it's that kind of things to think of and be able to help people get there a little better. But we took so much footage from our trip this summer. I've been able to work through some of it, and so this year it's going to be cranking out those videos and helping people who may not be able to get over there feel like they've been there. That's kind of what I'm shooting for 2024. And I would
Excellent.
like to physically get back there at some point, but I'm not sure. Just not sure. Are you headed over there anytime soon?
Yes. Yeah, I'm headed over like in September and October.
Awesome. That's right. You said you were going to be doing the Edinburgh Whisky Academy
Yep.
there. Ah,
And then I have this thing where I can't step foot in Scotland without heading out to Islay. So
yeah.
spending more time in
It
Islay.
it is so magical. I mean, I think
And
it's kind of cliche, but it really isn't. It really isn't.
I
It
mean
is crazy.
the thing that like to your point, you hear people that say, and I know we've probably gone way over the hour, and I
It doesn't
apologize.
matter. We got people
Um,
here.
that so many people that they go to Ireland and they say, okay, I'm going to be there for 3 days and I'm going to see 9 distilleries. And you say, stop,
Yeah.
don't do that.
Yeah.
It's like, go to Macra Bay. Like,
Yeah.
actually go to the water and like spend a day
Sit on
walking
the
up and
beach.
down. Don't go to a distillery at all on one day, and just
Yeah.
like visit the island and
Yeah.
meet the people and yeah. So that's
Yeah.
what I'm hoping to do, is spend a lot more time. I won't say not drinking, but like
Right.
not doing an assigned distillery tour.
I have to say we met up with Rachel and we went to Bunnahabhain and we did warehouse tour with David Brody. We had already had that booked, and she she took us to the oyster shed over on the West Coast, and we had unbelievable oysters that just came straight off out of the water minutes before we consumed them, you
Yeah.
know, and then went to Kilnave. I've never had whiskey in a graveyard before, but I did that day.
That's
And looked
awesome.
at a 700 AD cross in church, and I'm like, "Is this really life?" And then
Yeah.
we ended up at Mockyer Bay. Yeah, we wanted to it would have been lovely to go to Kilhoman and Brooklighty and all that since we were on the west side, but it was just nice to just sit my butt on the beach, watch the waves come in, have a dram, enjoy my time with my friend I hadn't seen since 2019. You know, Mark
Yeah.
took a nap. It was great, you know. It was just a great day,
Yeah.
and absorbing all of that is as important as going to see how the whiskey's made. So,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much again, Rick. I appreciate you, and,
You too, Leanne. Thank you for inviting me.
absolutely. We'll have you on again. I'm gonna tuck you in the back and, say bye to everybody.
All right. Slunge.
Gotcha. Y'all, thanks so much for being around, having fun. I mean, these drams, right? I mean, just absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna go back and take my time with them again, add them to the database of the ever-growing samples, and then maybe mix and match and play with some things later on. But thanks for being here again. Video coming out this week. Thanks so much to my camp drummers. You'll get the first crack to that video, and I will see you all next Tuesday. Until then, Sanjay, y'all.